Modern Infect is an aggro-combo deck. Because you only need 10 poison counters to win, if you combine a low-cost Infect creature with low-cost pump spells, you can end the game very, very fast. If you love raw power and synergy, then you're going to love Infect. With the right hand and build, it can win as early as turn 2, and any strategy that can win on turn 2 in Modern is terrifying. Now, I'm going to be listing cards that have been commonly seen play and lists that have been doing well at a competitive level. But this doesn't mean that there aren't other great choices out there. If you disagree with any of these choices, be sure to sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think. So let's take a look at the creature base of Modern Infect. It runs 4 Glistener Elf so that you can get an Infect creature out there on turn 1. Now remember, you want to play your Infect creatures as soon as possible, because the sooner you play them, the sooner you start swinging, and the faster you swing, the less of a chance you give your opponent to draw either a blocker or a piece of removal. And it runs 4 Blighted Agent. This costs 2 and it has unblockability. This means then that you don't need to worry about your opponent's blockers, instead you just need to focus on avoiding their removal. And it runs 4 Noble Hierarch, which is an all-around useful card. Now she gives your creature Exalted, so consider this. Let's imagine that you have an Infect creature that is unblocked. If you then go and cast 2 +4/+4 pump spells on it, combined with her Exalted trigger, it will end the game that turn. And plus she also taps for your colors, which means then that with that minor acceleration you can dump your hand very fast. And it also runs 0 to 3 Spellskites, with 2 to 3 being the most common. Now you're going to usually be using Spellskite to disrupt your opponent's removal and to protect your vulnerable Infect creatures, but sometimes Spellskite can have additional utility in disrupting your opponent's game plan, like the Splinter Twin combo. And those are the creatures. Let's take a look at the non-creature spells. It runs 4 Groundswell. You are almost always going to be using this as a +4/+4 pump spell. Now this is also a good reason why you should not crack your fetches unless you need to use them, so that you can always ensure that you have landfall on hand. And it runs 4 Vines of Vastwood. In the early game, when you may not have enough mana to use it as a pump spell, it will protect your creature, and then in the later game it can act as a win condition. And remember, you can also use it to disrupt the Splinter Twin combo. If you cast it on their creature, they will not be able to target that creature even though they own it. Vines of Vastwood does not give a creature hexproof, it simply gives it protection from being able to be targeted by your opponent. And it runs 2 to 4 Might of Old Crowser. Cast this in your main phase so that your creature can get +4/+4. And it runs 2 to 3 copies of Apostle's Blessing. In addition to being able to fizzle removal, you can also use it to give your creature protection so that it can go in and swing in for a lethal hit. And it runs 2 to 3 copies of Become Immense. Now to be able to fuel this card, you're going to be running Gitaxian Probes and Fetches, and plus you're also going to have a bunch of pump spells in the graveyard anyway for you to use when you're delving. Now Become Immense also serves an important purpose that you may have not thought of, which is helping to overcome your immense card disadvantage as an Infect player. When you cast Become Immense, you pump your creature to the equivalent of about 1.5 to 3 pump spells, since your pump spells will normally increase the power of your creature from between 2 to 4. So by having Become Immense in the list, it means that you have to cast less pump spells overall. It runs 4 Gitaxian Probe. Because it cantrips and it doesn't cost any mana to play if you just pay 2 life, it means then that you get to get valuable information on your opponent's hand for free, plus you fill the graveyard to help fuel Become Immense. And it runs 2 to 4 Serum Visions. This is the best 1-cost cantrip in Modern. Now, the truth is, as a Legacy player, every time I cast it, I always cry a little bit inside, but it definitely is the best 1-cost cantrip in Modern, unfortunately. And those are the core non-creature spells played. This normally makes up between 20 to 26 cards in the list. Now there will normally be space for 25 to 28 non-creature spells, depending on how many Spellskites you choose to play. So depending on your choice of creatures and core spells, you'll have between 0 to 8 flexi spots left to fill. Here are some common spells that are played in this flexi spot. Some lists run up to 1 Dismember. This is a catch-all card that can get rid of almost any opposing blocking creature in Modern, plus it will help you deal with other creatures that are stopping you from winning, such as your opponent's Spellskite. And some lists run up to 2 Rancor. In addition to giving your creature a +2 boost to power, it will also give your Infect creature Trample, which gives it some extra reach when you're dealing with blockers. And up to 1 Twisted Image sometimes gets played. In addition to dealing with your opponent's Spellskites and Mana Dorks, it will also cantrip itself, which is nice. And you can also use it in conjunction with Pendlehaven to get in an extra point of damage. And up to 4 Mutagenic Growth gets played. Its power is very obvious, as is a free pump spell, but it only gives your creature +2/+2, which is why a lot of lists choose to not run it. But the ones that do choose to run it tend to run it as 3 to 4 of. Now I've seen some other pretty spicy cards played in the spot, like Spell Pierce and Distortion Strike. So try out different cards if you've got some ideas and see if you like anything else. And remember, if you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. Moving on to the lands, Infect normally runs 20 lands, with the occasional list running 19 and sometimes even 21 lands. It supports 2 colours, green and blue, and the primary colour is green. It runs 4 Inkmoth Nexus, the Infect manland. Because it is a manland, it is safe from sorcery speed removal, board wipes, and abrupt decay. And plus, it has evasion 2 and is very cheap to activate. And it runs 2 Pendlehaven. This is a great replacement for a basic forest that gives you some extra value, but it is only run as a 2 of in the list because of the fact that it is a legendary land, so you never want to draw more than 1 throughout the course of a game. And it runs 1 Dryad Arbor. This is run so that you can protect your creature from a Liliana of the Veil sack effect. If your opponent casts Liliana and tries to get you to sack a creature, if you have an uncracked fetch, simply crack it and search up your Dryad Arbor. And as green is your primary colour, it runs 2 basic forests. And it runs 3 Breeding Pool to tap for your colours, blue and green. And it runs 8 green fetch lands. These can be any green fetch land, including Wooded Foothills, Misty Rainforest, Verdant Catacombs, or Windswept Heath. These can search up a forest, Breeding Pool, or Dryad Arbor. And those are the cards that commonly see play in the main board. Let's move on to the cards that commonly see play in the sideboard. When sideboarding with Infect, your main concern are dealing with your opponent's removal, blockers, and combo. Plus, you're also going to have to be keeping in mind a very nasty card that really disrupts the Infect game plan, Spellskite. Nature's Claim is played as an amazing card against Spellskite, Affinity, Amulet Bloom, and Splinter Twin. You don't care about the life gain because of the fact that you're dealing Infect damage, which makes Nature's Claim even more amazing in the Infect list. Spell Pierce also commonly sees play because it will disrupt your opponent's removal and combos. Relic of Progenitus is also commonly seen play in the sideboard against strategies that are trying to manipulate the graveyard for value, like Living End combo. Now, it is the graveyard hate piece of choice because it cantrips itself. While Defiance used to be a card that commonly see play in the main board, and it has fallen out of favour in recent times, but it is a common sideboard card that is brought in against grindier games. And you will regularly see extra Spellskites, Dismembers, and Twisted Images in the sideboard as well. But of course, sideboards have tons of room for flexibility depending on your meta, so try out different cards and see what works best for you. And if there are any spicy sideboard cards that you run, please share them in the comments below because I'd love to hear your creative ideas. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Your support really makes it all worthwhile. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook, please like the page to get more Modern and Legacy videos. Have fun smashing your opponent hard, fast, and poisoning them to victory.